did Facebook, did they change the layout of all of this just
Yeah,
recently?
yeah, not too long ago. So I need
Okay,
to
because
I need to update my
yeah,
business
yeah,
manager
I
videos.
was looking at it for a while with the old thing, and then this new. So it's not just me. I didn't like go into some alternate universe that.
No,
Okay,
they
they did change it.
yeah, they make you feel
Um,
that way though. All of the different Facebook, uh, Google, Amazon. One day you just go in there and it's like, oh, all right, I guess we're working with a new layout now.
yeah.
And they annoy
Okay.
everybody, and we all got to get used to it. But that's how they do it. Okay, so let's just go real quick. So what we're gonna do is just go right to the very beginning, start a new campaign. And do you have a pixel set up yet?
I do not.
Okay. So let's just take it step by step here, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to do some pixel stuff. But if we gotta do that, we'll do it.
Okay.
So let's just go create campaign.
In this campaign, I'm going to have different ad sets for different regions. And then within those people, we'll monkey with different audiences within those people. And then when I'm willing to expand it, I will create a new ad set. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, create a new campaign. I guess we just start at the top. Choose your objective.
Now, yeah. So go down to what's your marketing objective, and this is where we're gonna choose the campaign type, which is the first thing that we need to do. So
What is the difference between, okay, conversions is sales. Traffic pushes people to my website. Conversions needs to push people to my website to buy. And this is where Pixel gets that data and brings it back over here to let them know, to let this know that we're selling, right?
traffic is just strictly send people to the website, and you're gonna pay every time someone clicks. Right? Every time someone clicks and goes to your website, you're charged for that. And that's all Facebook's gonna do is focus on getting people to click and land on your website. What conversions is gonna do is give you a tracking option where same thing's going to happen. You're going to send people to your website, but it's going to allow you to see how many people added to cart, which pages they visited. Ultimately, the main thing we want to pay attention to is how many of them converted. And so you run and this is what we're going to do is I suggest you run conversion campaigns, since you are selling a product that can, they're purchasing right off of the website. We'll run a conversion campaign, make sure that the pixel's set up so everything can be tracked, and then you'll be able to see from this ad set how many people have added to cart, how many people have initiated checkout. Ultimately, the main thing you're going to want to pay attention to is how many people have converted and have they done so profitably.
Okay. And what about A/B and campaign budget optimization?
So do you know what both of those are? Do you want me to explain what they are?
Well, A/B test creative, which is the ad, right? Placement, which is where is the audience, and delivery optimization strategies, which I don't know what that is.
Okay. So,
but it's just testing.
Yeah. It's so. I mean, do you know what an A/B test is? What that's saying?
Well, yeah, it's taking two different things, taking the same thing, copying it, and changing one variable and testing it against each other.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. And yeah. I mean, I asked just because I never know what someone knows and what someone doesn't.
So I would like to do that, but I'm a little bit overwhelmed with it because there's just a lot of stuff.
Let's not do that yet, then.
So let's not do it yet.
Okay.
All right. What about optimization?
Let's just leave that off now as well.
Okay. So continue?
Yep, continue.
Now we're on to the ad set. That's all there was to the campaign, right?
That's it.
That's you're doing conversions.
Yep.
And so, all right. So now destination is a website. Yes.
Yep. All right. So now we're gonna make sure. Yeah. So that's already gonna be set to conversions since we chose a conversions campaign. And then pixel is now what we're gonna need to set up. So
create a pixel.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, good. Continue?
Yep.
All right. Are you ready to continue what I was doing? Set up the pixel now. Set up?
Yep, set up.
All righty. Choose how you want to add code using a partner, manually, email instructions to a developer. I guess manually, yes?
Let's do the top one, actually.
Partner installation.
Yep, because you said Squarespace, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so let's click that.
Alrighty. Beautiful. Choose a partner.
And then scroll down to Squarespace.
Oh, there it is. Hello. Grow your audience size.
You can just click. I mean, if we can go. You tell me if you want to go through all this or just
educate me on
Okay.
every little thing.
Okay,
We're doing
okay.
this because of this, or we don't want to do this because why?
Yeah, so we want to leave this on. This advanced matching, Facebook can match information. So basically, like, it's just going to allow Facebook to do all sorts of cool stuff.
Okay. Next. Remove pixel code.
You've never
I've
linked
never
it.
done it before, so
Okay.
oh, gotcha. So there isn't one existing, so I don't need to do that.
Correct. So I think
That's what you're saying.
I think we can just skip this for now.
So, oh, this is just the instructions of what to do, and I'm not going to bother with that. So continue. All right. Paste pixel ID.
Okay, so that pixel ID number right there, just copy that number.
All right. So home menu, marketing, Facebook pixel ads. Go home. Okay, there we go. Home, marketing, Facebook pixel and ads, pixel ID, paste, save.
Did it for us there.
Oh.
I'd act like you're gonna place an order, like add something to cart.
Do I have to buy it?
No, just go as far as we can in the checkout process without
Okay,
actually
let's-
buying anything.
Next.
Okay,
Okay.
so from here, yeah, let's go back and see if. All right, perfect.
Active. Okay, beautiful. Continue.
Yep.
Set up events.
Okay,
What's
so
this?
events, like how I said, this is gonna allow us to track which page they visited, if they added to cart, if they initiated checkout, if they actually made a purchase. All those different things are events. So that's what it's saying when we're gonna use an events tool and we're gonna add and use events is just that. We're gonna you throw your website in there and then click open website. So Google search Facebook Pixel Helper download. And then just grab this. It's just going to be a little Chrome extension. And then this will help us out a little bit.
Okay.
Just at the top where it says add to Chrome. Yep.
You know what? Your picture was hiding that. Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so I got that installed. So let's just go to your website real fast and then see what the tool's saying to start.
Which website? The back end or
Yeah.
the front end?
Front end. Chrome extension, a click, Pixel Helper. Okay, yeah, go ahead and click checkout now.
Click the extension again.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to Facebook now.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just going to kind of boss you around here for a second so I can...
That's fine. No.
See how
I'm with you.
stuff's going.
I'm your fingers.
Let's close this, and then let's go to your pixels inside of your business manager. Pull up your menu at the top left. Yep, and then let's go to events manager. If you click on the little details button to the right.
Details. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind just scrolling down.
Yep.
Check out, add to cart, purchase. Okay, I think so. We might be good actually.
So choose an event. So we're going to do purchase. Beautiful.
looks-
Cost.
That looks good. I think we're all
that's-
set with the pixel because it's got the
that's
green
where-
dot.
Do I want to control costs here?
So I don't set this until I've already ran some ads and I have a fairly good idea of how much my cost per purchase is going to be because right now we have no clue. If
Okay.
you for sure know what your max is, then you could throw your max in there. But I'd just leave that blank until
Yeah,
you kind of
okay.
have a better idea.
So this is interesting. Conversion window. What dictates a conversion, you mean?
It's going to dictate the time period in which the conversion happens. So if someone, right now what it's set to is 7 days click or 1 day view. So if someone clicks or views your ad and then makes a purchase within 7 days, 7 days after a click or one day after
Or,
a view, then it will count as a purchase conversion. So you're just telling it.
yeah, which would you do?
So I
My
would,
thing is 1 day.
after clicking. Oh no, I would do 7 days or 1 day
Okay.
view. Yeah,
Okay.
because like
All right.
even if they click the ad and get it 6 days later, I still want to know that.
Okay.
I don't want it to not
I,
count that in the data.
I get charged by impression because that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's not gonna let you change that this
What
time.
is dynamic creative? That's probably
So
for later.
yeah, it's basically where you put in several different headlines or several different images or videos, and then what Facebook does is
It'll optimize.
yeah, well, kind of. What it does is it picks like which headline with which image versus versus which video, and it just kind of builds that itself for you.
Yep, I'm with you. Okay, now. I played around with audiences, and this is where we're going to spend some time.
Yeah.
Let's come back to that in a minute. Okay, no, these are all three of these are things that we'll talk about.
Yep.
So let me look at the coast side includes Pescadero, and I don't want that. This is okay. So we're going to use this saved audience, and then we might edit it more, right?
So I would not use the saved audience.
Just start from scratch.
I would just start from scratch. And
yeah, especially while I'm working with you, we can talk over each element as we go.
Yep. And the very first thing that I saw when you showed me your ads on the last call, when you showed me your ad sets, I should say, and my biggest piece of advice right off the bat is don't lump so many things together in one ad set.
So, the interests.
Like you had like 20 interests in one ad set. You had, I don't know, 6 locations in one ad set. And what happens is, let's say you get some conversions, some people purchase. Well, you don't know if that, from which of those 20 interests that purchase came from. You don't know which of those 6 locations that purchase came from. But if you take the time to separate all of that out.
I am hearing you. So we set up a control. Let's say that we're just going to do 20 to 45 or 25 to 45. I think that's a sweet spot for age range. Male and female, we're at about a 45-55% is about the spread. So it's close to 50-50 male and female. And then let's
lock those in real fast since we know what those are.
Okay, so let's edit. Okay, age. Let's do that. So let's do 25. Actually, out here on the coast, everybody drinks it. So
I wouldn't go.
You wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't go 65 plus. I'd go like 50, 45.
All right, I'm gonna go 50 because
even that's a pretty wide range. Like in theory,
I'm hearing you. Okay, and this is yet another set of testing because I know I'm 52 and I know that everybody. I know. Of course, we all have our social set that we know, but I know a lot of people from their late 30s to their late 60s who drink kombucha. But I understand the value of testing narrow. But I think the age range is not the thing to test. Well, I don't know. You tell me what things are best to test first.
Well, you'll definitely want to test all of it. So let's just take age range for a second. What I would say age range wise is, people from 18 to 85 there's people that drink kombucha in that entire age
Yeah,
range.
yeah.
But what you want to figure out as the businessman and as the person advertising a product is,
Where's the middle of the bell curve?
yeah, which is the range of people most likely and that are the people that will buy your kombucha. And so
Mm-hmm.
that might end up being, and your brand like looks younger. I'm not saying this will necessarily be the case, but my guess right now would be it's going to skew a little bit younger, even though, yeah, plenty of 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds. My guess
Mm-hmm.
is that it's going to skew younger, because it looks like the brand looks a little younger, and then also because people who use social media and buy product off of social media tend to skew younger. Not that there aren't plenty of 50, 60, 70-year-olds that are buying product through
Yep,
Facebook
yep,
ads. That
yep.
definitely
Gotcha.
happens. But so what I would say is, go 20 to 50, 20 to 60 when you're beginning to test, and then let Facebook do its thing, get some data back, and then assuming you're getting some purchases, you can go in and then look at, and Facebook will tell you it'll tell you like the 24 to 35-year-old age range is the age range making the most purchases.
Yep,
Or if
yep.
it's 50 to 60, it'll tell you it's 50 to 60. So I'd say keep it a little, since you have no data yet. I'd say
Mm-hmm.
keep it initially a little bit wide, but you want to get that to a point where it's even like
Got it. Got
20.
it.
we
Love
know
it.
we know that 28-year-olds are the people who buy our,
Yeah, right.
but yeah, for now keep it a little wide, get the data back, and then as hopefully we're getting some purchases, and as that happens, then Facebook will tell you, yeah, it's the 30 to 34-year-olds that are making the most purchases.
Okay, so here's where I'm putting in the towns.
So I would pick just one.
Um,
Uh, yeah. So I would pick.
but hold on. Let me just tell you something about these towns, though. El Granada has like a couple thousand people in it. Moss Beach has a couple. These are. Not, I'm not going to hit 10,000 people. Well, wait, how am I potentially reach? Oh, that's because I'm doing 25 miles. So now that I've not done 25 miles, check out my audience size. So with those four towns, and basically these four towns are all one community. That's why I'm lumping them together.
Yeah, I understand. I would
We all
still.
shop at the same, but they're essentially neighborhoods. And you're saying go by neighborhood, yes?
Yeah. If if the potential reach gets too small, then I would say, okay, let's add a couple in together, or expand the radius or something. But
Okay.
I would start one by one and see. So if you wouldn't mind clicking away Half Moon, Montara, Moss Beach. Let's
Hold on.
just.
No. I'm gonna leave Montara and Moss Beach because we're two towns. You can see they're on top of each other. We're right next door. Let's take a look at what the audience size becomes. 3,700 people.
So click off one of those.
Okay, let's click off Montara because why not? Moss Beach is where I live.
Yeah.
2,600 people.
So I would honestly, I'd run that. I would target. I know 2,600 seems small, but
No. Hey, I'm at your. This. I can see where you're headed here, and I really appreciate it. This is exactly what I wanted from you. This
cool.
kind of strategic stuff. And once we do this one, you can set me loose, and I can do four of them. I can do one for each town, and then. But hold on, and then, like right now, we're going to put demographics because I'm going to do both genders. Am I doing targeted detailed targeting here, or
we'll do some of that. And so what might happen when we go in and put an interest in detailed targeting, then our potential reach might be too low, and so then we'll have to make some adjustments to grow our audience, which that's probably going to happen. Like if you go into, let's set the language to English since we're right here real fast.
Okay, all right. Oh, might as well be.
Yeah. And then detailed targeting, click edit.
Yep, and this is where it gets hairy.
And then click off the reach people. Yep. That's
Oh, because we're testing. That's good after we're done testing, I assume. Yeah.
yeah, it could be. It's yeah, if you've already got some, if you found some targeting that works, that is successful, then yeah, that might be a good option to use. But for now, that's just going
Right.
to be Facebook trying to spend more of your money.
Yep. Gotcha.
Okay, so but now you'll see that we've already not we haven't even put in an interest, but Facebook's already telling us that our potential reach is too low. But we'll type in kombucha and select that interest, just as an example here.
Yep. And that's going to limit it further, right?
Yep. Yeah, so fewer than 1,000. So now what I would do is there's several ways you can grow your audience. You can type in more interest, but in this case, we really set a very small geographic audience. So I would go do what you were doing and um, expand your geographic region.
Yep. Gotcha. So now let's do Montero.
And sorry, go back down and click off wellness.
Get rid of wellness. Yeah.
And leave just kombucha there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that helped
No,
a ton.
no.
25-mile
that
radius.
defaulted to 25-mile radius.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't want that. But we're still fewer than 1,000.
Yeah, so just keep adding some in until we get a better potential reach. And then I'd also switch locations. The drop down just above where you're at, where it says people living in or recently in this location. Yeah, click that and change that to just people living
in. Yes, yep. Thank you.
That's going to shrink the audience.
That's going to shrink it. No, yeah. I know. Okay, let's do Half Moon Bay. Yeah, so basically these four give me 16,000 when it's not narrowed by an interest. So kombucha, we have fewer than 1,000.
So
and
is that the entire region that you will cover?
Well,
like, will you deliver outside of those areas at all, or no?
Well, the next area that I would consider is Pacifica. Now,
or can you expand? Like, I'd expand the radius on each of those that are already in there.
No. It doesn't really work that way well, because watch this. 25 miles. Let's bring that down to 10 miles. You're still 10 miles from there. You've got most of San Francisco in there, and I don't want that.
So maybe even 5 miles.
It doesn't let you go below 10.
Try typing it in the box.
Oh. Duh. Nope.
No, 10's the lowest.
Nope, 10's the lowest. Okay, so that's why I'm more surgical on these guys.
Understood.
So now, even with Pacifica, we have fewer than 1,000. Suggestions.
Hover over kombucha. It's a 5.2 million. So, and we haven't even changed our placements yet.
Here's watch this, kombucha. Why don't we add GTs?
Well, because that's not so delete GTs and act like you're gonna go click it on again. It's the size. So when you hover over it right here, the box on the right says size 1.
Yes. And what's it say?
Size 1. It's saying it's an audience size of 1, so that's not helpful at all.
Oh, that's not helpful at all. Okay.
But what's another, like, maybe so click off kombucha.
The wellness type stuff comes in.
So it's not try wellness. It's not the interest targeting here that's limiting us. It's the geographic targeting. So if we want to grow our audience, we have to expand the geographic targeting. Yes, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's but okay. All right. Yes. Again, that is why on my other saved ones I had so many interests and other behaviors and demographics.
Okay. Um, which
Um,
which is which isn't wrong. That's not a bad thing to do in this case. But before we go to adding in a ton of interest, I want to see if with the geographic location, if we can make our audience any bigger.
okay. Let's, for the fun of it,
But I mean,
let's go to.
this depends on you're the driver driving around delivering. So like
I know.
what
I know.
let's actually like however big you can actually make that area, and we can actually make it on like on the map right here. Let's try and do that. So like if there's cities in between other cities in between.
Half Moon Bay and Pacifica. No, that
Yeah,
that is the run, and you'll see it's all on Route One. There, it's all on this coast highway here. Um, what I would do then is open up over by San Mateo, and once I hit the big block is going over this hill here, um, between Half Moon Bay and San Mateo. Once I'm over there, I just drop down over here to Silicon Valley, and boom, I've got a ton of available people. But again, I'm a little shy of doing that right now because I don't want to get one guy in. I don't want to get one guy down in Mountain View that I have to drive all the way down there for one case.
right.
Follow.
I do
So I
follow.
want to.
I also
What's that?
think I do follow. I also think that in that Silicon Valley area,
Mhm.
you're gonna get there's tons of people there that drink kombucha,
Oh, dude.
like insane amounts.
Once I hone my thing, um, my idea is to then let's do this. Let's do Half Moon Bay. Let's go to Half Moon Bay and then make a radius. Well, 25 miles is way too big because let's look at the audience size just for the fun of it.
I was also
80,
thinking the two cities that sit in the middle, looking at it horizontally.
yeah.
Um, expand the radius of those might work too. So like you're not expanding the one that's closest to San Francisco, but whatever the cities are, they're in the middle, because
No.
it'll
Here's
also expand that radius like
but that
horizontally.
that doesn't really work because let me show you why. If we do expand the radius of that one
Yeah, El
or
Granada.
this one, any of those, most of the radius is in the mountains.
That's fine.
It's fine, but here's the thing. Let's make the radius of El Granada or Montera 10 miles and make the radius of this 10 miles. So once, well, let me get rid of the Montera. That's just city only. Once I do 10 miles from here, I'm committed to driving over the hill, which is fine, and I'm close enough to go south and I'm close enough to go north to any of this stuff. That is acceptable. Let me do 12 miles. Audience is defined. I've got 5,700 people. And that is something I can commit to because it's not so far south as Palo Alto or Mountain View. And again, the fear is that I get one that is, way deep in this neighborhood over here.
Right.
But I'll deal with that.
Yeah.
So at that point, watch this. At that point, I might as well just take off all of the rest of those towns because they're not relevant anymore. And Pacifica, let me just get rid of that. I could exclude places. Holy shit. Okay. But no, I don't necessarily want to. So everything within this radius, all of these three guys are redundant.
That's fine. You could,
right?
Yeah, click them off and let's see if it actually changes anything.
So 5,600 people. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. We should still have 5,600 people because those are inside. Radius, 5,600 people. Beautiful. Wellness. Let's,
Click off wellness.
yeah, hold on a sec. Let me click kombucha just for the fun of it. Call for wellness. 3,400 people with just kombucha.
So that's better. That's
Yep.
That's an audience I would definitely run an ad to. So I would let's stick with that for now. But another thing you could do, well, yeah, let's just stick with that for now because that's the area that you feel good with. I will say it's probably very much worth testing just the Silicon Valley area because I know that's outside of your driving range, especially if it's just for like one delivery, but just at least for testing purposes, so you can gather the knowledge of whether or not it's a good idea. I would run ads specifically to that area.
Well, here's the thing.
And
Let me tell you a little.
Yeah, you'll just be able to see really, you'll just be able to at least have a really good idea as to whether or not you'll be able to make money running ads in that area or not.
I get you. Sexy Silicon Valley is basically kind of down here from Sunnyvale, Mountain View, and then you come up to Menlo Park, Palo Alto, and then you get not as sexy Silicon Valley, Redwood City, Belmont, San Carlos, San Mateo. It's still Silicon Valley, but then you get into these. I've got some really expensive neighborhoods, Burlingame and Hillsborough. There's some. Those are the big mansions and stuff for people that live in San Francisco. So these are not. Yeah. So this one. Let's just say that this is an audience that we've defined. And then what we might do is take this same demographics and change the place to be Palo Alto and put a 10-mile radius on it. Is that what you're thinking? Something like that?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm saying so like run this ad. Cool, looks good. Create a new ad and then yeah, Palo Alto or Mountain View, create a little radius, give it a little bit extra, and run that. Just because, like, the reason that you're sticking in the area you have defined right now is just because you don't want to drive as far. But, like, just from a business standpoint, there might be way more people that buy in the Silicon Valley area than in the area that you're in. So I would just test that to just get the information. You might have to go drive that and drop off a couple times, or maybe you have to do that 100 times. Like if you
I have to do it 100 times, I'm happy.
Yeah, then it's worth it. So I'd say run an ad to that area and see, do you get one purchase or do you get 50 purchases? And if it's one, then you have the conversation to yourself about maybe it's not worth it. But if you get 50 from there and this Half Moon Bay area ad only gets a couple, well then it starts to become kind of obvious that, all right, you need to figure out how to sell in Silicon Valley and not in the 10-mile radius around your house or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Love it. No, that's totally, and that goes back to the the cost per customer.
Right. And then ultimately, I mean, I think you'd really want to move towards shipping nationwide, which sounds like you're already working on that, but that would be the main thing.
That really is a different thing altogether, because delivery, I can keep my costs down, but shipping, a 25-pound box of water and glass just gets expensive.
Yep, I understand that for sure. But I would say that
off to the customer.
That'll allow you won't have to really necessarily base it around geographic targeting. At that point, it could be all behavioral and interest based, and your ad could be running across the whole country, and then it's just a matter of, when they purchase it, it gets shipped to their house. Just a regular shipping physical product. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Liquid and glass, it's not an easy thing or inexpensive thing to ship.
What would you add to the ad set name that's not the audience based? Maybe the placements.
I add the placements if I'm running it on Facebook,
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah, and the maybe the budget. Okay, so should we do automatic or manual?
Let's do manual.
Okay.
And then as we do this, our potential reach is gonna drop some more. We'll see how much.
Okay.
So here's where you want to test. This is like there's no this is the one you need to run. I'll tell you the ones you need to test, but it's up to you to actually test them and see which ones perform the best. And there's even a few outside of here that are worth testing, but the main ones to start testing are Facebook news feed, Instagram feed, and then also stories is a good place. But mainly just your feeds and your stories on Instagram and
So
Facebook.
I don't need Instagram Explorer, Facebook right column. Yeah, you're blind to the right column. Video feeds and marketplace I can get rid of.
Yep. And then
Okay, and then stories. I don't want messenger stories, do I?
no, you can turn that off.
But I want Instagram and Facebook stories. What's in stream?
Where it shows the ad inside of the video. Like it gives you the ad will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, do we want to do that?
Not right now. So let's click off everything except for the stories and the feed.
So
Okay.
we're doing Facebook and Instagram stories and feed.
Yeah. So and I'll say one more thing here. What I personally like to do, like how we did with like we tried to do with the interest targeting and the geographic targeting, I like to separate things out as much as possible. So when the data comes back and there's success that happened, I know exactly where that success came from instead of being like, well, it could have been any one of the 20 different interests I plugged in. So it's the same thing with my placements. I like to separate those out as much as possible. So when the data comes back, I know it came through Facebook feed or I know it came through IG stories, etc.
Okay, so hold on. So are you saying that this ad set could be busted into 4 ad sets? One with a Facebook story, one with a Facebook feed, one with an Instagram story, one with an Instagram feed?
That is what I'm saying. Yes, because then you'll be able to know like if you know
I like it.
Facebook feed work or does IG feed work or do they both work? And so yes, you can, and I personally like to explode stuff out, like separate stuff out as much as possible. But what that does, the problem that starts to create is with your budget, because if you've got a limited budget, and pretty much everybody has a limited budget, so
Yeah.
is instead of having, let's say you got $100, instead of having $100 that you're able to give to just this ad set that we've set up right here, if you break it out into 4 different placements, now you've got to only be able to give 25 to each one, right? And so there's a lot of different things to test, and as you separate them out and test each one, you're having to spend more money to do that. So you just have to find the right balance of, okay, how many different tests do you want to create and how much money are you going to be able to allocate to each of those tests. So if you're looking at this and going, and which is it's the conversations you have to have with yourself, but maybe you look at this and go, maybe it's more important to test 4 different interests. We're just testing kombucha
then 4
right
different places.
Yeah, exactly.
Placements.
And also, if you do run it like this to Facebook and IG story and feed, and the data that you get back after it's been running for a little bit, it will tell you how many impressions it's given to Facebook versus Instagram. It'll tell you how many purchases came from Facebook versus Instagram. I'm not positive. I'd have to go in and check. I'm not positive if it separates specifically stories from feed. I think it does, but there is some ability to go in after this has ran, assuming we're combining a bunch of different placements. You can go in and look at the data after the fact and see if it's been showing it the ad more to Facebook feed or Instagram stories and which one has been performing better than the other.
Right.
But it won't give you that information. So if you throw in a bunch of different placements, it will give you some sort of data as to which one's performing better or which one the ad's being shown the most in.
Yep.
But if you throw in a bunch of interest in your audience
You can't
targeting,
separate that out.
it doesn't separate that out at all for
Okay,
you.
so it sounds like what you're saying is testing the audience 4 times with 4 feeds, Facebook, Insta, Story, feed, doesn't provide the bang for your buck, because you can kind of separate those out when you analyze the clicks later, because it shows you they got this from the Facebook story or the Instagram feed.
Right. So I think it's most important to figure out your audience targeting as the number one thing,
and then leave as the constant, or at least leave as a constant, these 4 placements.
Yeah. It might be worth testing stories versus feeds, but yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just kind of like.
At this point, I think what I'll do next is do this exact same thing, except instead of kombucha, do wellness, and then do a meditation, then do a yoga.
Yeah.
Just
I'd even those would be, yes, that's the right strategy. I think those would be good interests to test, but I also think I can help you with some other strategies on how to find some better interests, like how to find people that already like kombucha brands on Facebook, like big name kombucha brands, and we can target those people, like how to steal your competitors' customers.
Mm-hmm. I saw that video, and I took some notes on it. That's pretty cool. But for now, let's hold now. I think we have for us an ad set.
Yeah, so the only other thing is just however you want to set up your budget.
Okay, so let's say that I want to spend $200 over the next week. Let's say that I'm willing to spend $200 over the next week, and yet I'd like to get as much data points as possible. So this will be the first one, and let's just say I'd like to do 10 different things. $20 or that's the daily budget. And run things for what, 5 days, 7 days? What do you think? Get a full week?
So you've got $200 and you want to run 10 tests?
Well, I'm just throwing numbers out right now.
Let's run with that for a second. So then you'd have $20 to give to each test. You could give it all in one day, or you could spread that out over several days.
Yeah.
The reason to spread it out over several days is just kind of simply people's behaviors are different day to day. Different people at different times. Whereas if you just blast it all in one day, I mean, you're still going after the same audiences. It's just like different people, different time of the day, that thing is happening.
And different days.
And different, weekend versus a Monday, that sort of stuff. So, I mean, either way works, honestly, which is one thing that's cool about Facebook, is if you want to spend $200 today and have data tomorrow, I mean, you can do that. If you want to spread that out and give each of your ad sets $5, run them for 4 days, and run all 10 of them for 4 days, I would say probably do that. Spend the $200 over 4 days across 10 different ad sets with 10 different tests in there. That sounds pretty good to me. The only thing I don't like about that is you're only giving Facebook $5 a day for each ad set, which isn't much at all. But it can work. But like, what's the average sale price of the product on your site? Like $30, $50,
$25 average.
$25 average. If you can spend $5 or $10 on an ad and make that $25 sale, so like every $5, $7, $10 you dump into Facebook, you get the $25 sale. That would be okay. those numbers would work, but that's even, that's $5 to $10, and we're saying to Facebook just 5 max per day.
Yep, love it. No, I'm happy to increase that.
But what I'm saying is that can work. It's just it's not a whole lot to give Facebook in a 24-hour period to make a $25 or $40 sale. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha.
But I mean, you gotta, with the budget you have, you gotta do the best that you can with it. And that's where it's just kind of balance and having conversations with yourself about, maybe instead of 10 tests, maybe you want to run 5, and that way each ad set gets more money. Or that's just kind of for you to come up with. And my advice here would be, if it is, I know we're just throwing out some numbers, but if it is 200, I mean, that's not bad given 10 ad sets, $5 a day for 4 days. I'd maybe do, like, instead of 10 tests, I'd maybe knock that down to like 6 or 7. And then instead of spending the budget on those other 3 or 4 ad sets, I'd transfer that money to the 6 or 7 ad sets, just so Facebook has a little bit more money for those 6 or 7 ad sets. That makes sense?
I'm sorry, I'm reaching saturation. Instead of talking budget, let's talk about what tests would be best. I would like to test this week. I would like to test my Half Moon Bay plus 12 on these 4. So with these ages, I would like to test different. Yeah, all right. Now I know. Now I'm getting clear on what I think will work best. I think what I need to change is interest, to find some interest differences and keep everything else separate. And if I do that, and I schedule, let's just say that I do $10 a day for 7 days, $70. So 7 times 4, if I do 4 different interests, that's 280. I can swing that. And that should give me some good data. So back to your daily, does $10 you were kind of bearish on $5 a day.
That sounded good to me, what you just laid out.
Okay. So I will do that. I will do exactly everything here, including this, for 7 days, and only change the audience by one interest point. And that will tell me about the interest points. And that still keeps me in my backyard.
Yeah. That's the only other thing I would say that's probably worth testing is, instead of, like, do them all in your backyard, except do one in Silicon Valley like we talked about, and just see what happens there, I'd say. If you're up to it. If you're not up to it, but I just think it's probably worth the test.
But I would rather do that next week after I find which interest is the best.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's the thing to do, because I'm not in a, like I said, I'm not in a rush. In fact, I'm out of one of my flavors, so I don't want to. I mean, I'm bottling this weekend, so I'll have them. But now that I've got this, I want to. What is remove detailed targeting options to avoid zero purchases?
So it's just giving you a warning here, saying that with all the options that you've chosen so far.
Got it.
It's saying it might be too narrow.
Just a warning. Yeah,
I've gotten that a lot. I've even got it where it said, like, just straight up, you won't receive any. Yeah. And I run the ad, and I still do. So.
Okay, so we're going to continue. Yes.
Yeah, there was one more thing I wanted to say. Oh yeah, the only other thing I'd say here is you may even want to also test one Okay, I've got two thoughts here. You may also want to
Mhm.
test one with no interest targeting, and just run your ad to,
To everybody.
yeah, just to the area, because there
To
might be
everybody.
there might be some kombucha drinkers that just
That
haven't liked that interest on Facebook, and so you're missing them.
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
So
what you could also do in that one, just so you're not overlapping your ad spend, you can exclude all the interests that you have already targeted.
so love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Love it. So hold on a sec. So can I continue here?
There was one more thought that I had while we were right here.
But what you just said, I need to is monkeying with audiences.
Correct, correct. And that
Correct.
one, you don't have to do that by any means. That's just kind of an
Uh
extra
huh.
like.
No. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. And then this is where you just said that you get this sometimes. This is the reach, 143, and conversions they're predicting is 0.
Yeah, those are very very estimated.
We're
I've had
gonna try it anyway.
I've had it right there where it's like a red message saying like you won't,
You're
you won't
not
even
gonna.
reach anybody, and it still does.
Yeah.
So
All right. So continue.
yep.
All right. Continue. And
And then the ad. This is where we're actually set up the creative, and there's 3 steps in the sales process here where you're gonna sell people or lose people. The first one is you've got to, so like the first thing that they're gonna see is your ad, and then if your ad is good enough, they'll click to your website landing page, checkout, and actually buy your product. So you could potentially be targeting the right people. Your website could be good enough, but maybe the ad that you're putting in front of them just isn't doing the trick. So it's like you really got to line up all three. And then once all three are lined up, that's when you get a lot of sales. So you're reaching the right people with the right ad. And then when they click the ad, the page that they land on is good enough that they end up buying the product.
Okay. So let's see. Identity. How do you want your business to be represented? I guess.
Yeah, it's already selected your Facebook page. Is that the right page?
Yes.
Okay.
And then this is my Insta. Yep. Got it. Create ad. We're just going to do a single image for starters.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Media, this is where we put in our picture.
Yeah, you click on add media.
Add media. There we go. Add image. Okay. Upload. Now is the fun part. Let's go hunting for a picture.
Oh, so yeah, this is another thing. If you're doing, and this may even lead you to going back into your ad set and maybe changing your placement options, but as it's showing you right here, the stories screen is different than the stories format is different than a feed format. So a stories is going to take up like a vertical, the whole
it's
screen
the vertical,
vertically.
the portrait.
Yeah. And then in the feeds, it's going to be more of like just a square.
One.
Yeah. But the only other thing I would change or work on is just your copy, the headline. And,
yes, the headline and description.
Yep, and that's actually it's easy to overlook that, but that's where you're really like psychologically able to speak to the person, right? Because your image, I mean, if it's a video or like a very intense image, then it can relay more information, but your image itself here isn't like, no one's gonna see that image and be like, I gotta have this, right? Like no one's necessarily gonna see the image and even know what it's all about. So your headline and your description, your what do they call the top one up there? The primary text. Yeah, all of that like is so much more important than just like throwing a little line there so people will click and buy. Like that is where you hack their psychology. And
upside down drinking.
That's an interesting one. At the book that you bought, that Facebook ads book, goes really in depth with copywriting, like what kind of words you're using and stuff like that. But the way I would look at this is put yourself in a stranger's shoes who's just randomly scrolling through Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
If this pops up, so like I'll just take me for example, like I'm putting myself in the shoes of a stranger. I'm just on Instagram and this pops up just how it is. It says it's got a picture that I don't quite understand, and then it says delivers. I have no idea what it is, so delivers what, and then upside down, I don't know what that means, drink MBK. So basically, to me right now, when I look at this ad as a stranger, it's just a whole bunch of no clue what this is. So what I would try and do with your copy right here is educate people, like who you are, what you do, and how it's good for them. Like, but mainly like educate them and tell them why it's good for them. The headline and then the primary text in this order. Headline's most important, then the primary text, and then the description if you have a description.
But it sounds like, but from what you've said, those are some things to test once we drill down some audience stuff, right?
Yes, but ads, if your ads aren't good enough,
then you're not going to have any.
Then if you put them even in front of the right audience isn't going to care. So you have to. Yes, I do believe audience is the first most important thing to figure out, but your ad does have to be good enough to actually, like get some conversions out of that audience. So, yeah, like that's just the easiest way to put it. Your ad still has to be good enough. So like you can't just get away with a bad ad. So
gotcha.
So that's where I say, it's absolutely worth the time. Like I understand that these are just letters that we're typing right here, but to someone,
no, but they are the letters.
Yeah,
no,
but to someone who's scrolling through their feed, these are the letters that have to trigger something in their head that says, I'm gonna look into this a little more, and then I'm gonna buy it, and I can't wait for it to show up at my door. So that's what, and honestly, that book is really helpful in that way to kind of help you understand.
Okay.
Like your copywriting is how you're psychologically hacking into people's brains. So. And there's no, that's an art, right? There's no like follow steps 1 through 3 and you've written perfect copy. It's doing the best you can, and then as soon as you can, testing as many different headlines as you can, A/B testing them against each other to figure out which one works better. And it's interesting, the Marshall in that book, he even goes through like literally change one word, and it's like instead of 20 conversions, we now got like 40 conversions. Like one little tweak through a lot of A/B testing can really make a big difference in how the ad performs. So, but at the beginning, it's just tough though, because you don't have any data to work with. You have a very small budget to work with, and you're trying to make some big things happen. So that's just kind of the game at the beginning.
Instagram, you just get the primary text. You don't get the headline or the description.
Right, and that's another. Each placement will be formatted a little bit differently. So that's another thing, is maybe you want to, like, if this all doesn't format well across the 4 different placements that we have chosen, then maybe that's a reason to break out, make a different campaign or a different ad set for, so you can format your placements as you want to.
Gotcha.
But it does, as you've seen clicking through those, it does like change the stuff around for you, but it is different in each placement. Couple thoughts on your destination page.
Okay.
I would, and this is testing, but I would test 2 different things. I'd test one, sending them to the page that, let's see.
Page where you buy and one to the homepage?
I'd send one where they go to the dash store.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one I would test sending them straight to the product page.
Build a URL parameter. What's that?
You don't need to worry about that. Don't worry about that.
What?
The display link, if you want to worry about that, you can, but it's just like if you don't like how your link is being displayed, you can type it in differently right here and it'll show up a little different.
what would your call to action be? Learn more, or buy now, shop now?
Learn more works really well.
Yeah, I think so.
That's another thing that's worth running some A/B tests.
Yep.
Not at the beginning, not super worth it,
Mm-hmm.
but down the road. But yeah, learn more usually works pretty well.
Okay, languages. Didn't we already select that?
Yeah, that's for if. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Tracking, Pixel. We've got Pixel set up. App events,
Don't need to worry about app events.
offline events,
You're
parameters.
you're done at this point. I've got one more little tip for you that'll be helpful.
Yep,
I mean, I've got a lot more, but here's what I'm
I'm
thinking
sure. I'm sure.
of. So if you go to the ad set, click into the ad set section.
Ad set.
Yeah. And so instead of like clicking the green create button, right? So we're inside of that campaign we created, and we're looking at all the
Yeah.
ad sets that we've created inside that campaign, which is only one so far. So that's the only one we're going to see. But if we want to create a new ad set, we can click which is how, because you want to create these other tests now where you go in and change just the interest, put a different interest in there. And so you
Is
can
that
do
like an A/B test?
so you could do that, or so you got a few options here. You can click the green create, and that'll start you from scratch for creating a new ad set. You can use the A/B test, or you can, if you hover over that and click duplicate.
Yeah, duplicate. Yeah.
Yep.
That duplicate would give me the A/B test.
Well, just go ahead and click it right now. I'll show you.
To duplicate this, yeah.
And then, so what I'm just showing you how to change the interest quickly and save yourself some time.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
just leave it set to original campaign. Number of copies of each ad set. You can change that. We don't need to do that right now though, but you can do that as you're creating more. Show existing reactions, comments, and shares on new ads. Definitely leave that clicked on. That's going to transfer all the engagement, the likes, comments, shares, all that. All right, so click duplicate. And then what it just did is it created just that, an exact just duplicate, all the targeting, all the ads, everything. So all we have to do now is just go to the interest targeting section.
Take away kombucha and add yoga.
Yep, exactly.
Edit my detailed targeting and make that yoga. Okay, so that's pretty much it, right?
Yep, that is it.
All right.
So now if you were to actually want to run this ad, you just click publish. If you don't want to, click discard draft. You'll also notice that the audience potential reach went up quite a bit by choosing yoga.
Yeah. Oh, 62,000. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so just how to find some different interests to target. So audience insights, do you know how to get there? You know what that is?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. That's down here in reporting.
We're at an hour 45, by the way. Just to.
Okay.
You get a call it whenever.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I want to go through this thing. Okay. So now click on everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in the interest, just throw in kombucha, for example.
Okay.
And then go to page likes. Scroll down to the page likes section. Okay, and then these are other audiences that you can target that are audiences that are closely related to the kombucha audience. So the idea here is that Facebook is looking at all the data on the kombucha people and saying, okay, I'm going to go out and find other audiences that are very similar to these people. And those audiences are traditional medicinals, Thrive Market, REI, Whole Foods Market, Food Inc., Blue Apron, etc. And then it gives you the affinity rating on the right, just saying like which ones are the most closely related to the kombucha target.
Yep.
Cool.
So I'd want to throw in. I'd want to test traditional medicinals.
Yep.
On that.
Yeah. Exactly. And then also, so if you come back over here to the left column.
Yep.
So like age, we could go, like if you change that from 25 to 60. we might see some of these page likes change. And then especially once you know like really what your target demographic is, then all the better. So scroll down to where it gives us the affinity ratings.
GT's kombucha, boom.
And so what I would also do now is I'd take GT's kombucha and go throw that up in the interest.
Yep.
No, sorry, inside of audience insights here.
Oh, inside of
Yep,
here.
so I'd delete kombucha and throw in GT's kombucha. And yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Delete kombucha.
Kombucha.
And now look at the pages with the highest affinity, which it looks like the audience might not be big enough. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. That happens though. That's just sometimes the audience, sometimes there's enough
high
data there.
correlation, low volume.
Yeah. And then I would play around with, I'd do like a 25 to 35-year-old.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then maybe even change that to men.
Yeah, okay.
And then now
look at that REI. Okay, let's do men.
And then now look at the affinity pages.
Yeah. Workaholics, Heineken, Miller Lite, Chubby. Okay, let's do women. Nasty Gal. That's interesting. No idea what that is. Okay.
So yeah, that's how you can play around with.
With that.
So
yep.
And then as soon as you find, especially important is as soon as you do find an interest that converts, especially if it converts profitably, then that's really when you want to come take that interest, throw it in here, and find the most closely related, highest affinity. Yeah.
Cool.